You're broken down and tired of living life on the merry-go-round, and you can't find a fighter, but I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out. Move mountains, we gon' walk it out and move mountains. And I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, I'll like the waves. I'll rise up, in spite of the ache. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again.
On behalf of the 37th Annual Black History Month Observance Committee, welcome. When the committee ended its work in February of 2021, the hope was that by February 2022, the COVID-19 virus would be history. Our rearview mirror would be clear, and through vaccinations, boosters, social distancing, and masking, we would be home free. That did not and has not happened. Instead, we're learning to live with COVID-19 and its mutations. It is still here, and our work continues. Last year's theme, Looking Back and Looking Forward, was conducted in a viral format, just like this one. It featured a historical documentary of the origin of the Black History Month Observance Breakfast. The Black History Month Observance Breakfast began in the mid-'80s, and those were the days of renewed opportunity and participation from across racial lines in our community. Progress was being made. If you missed the 2021 documentary, you may want to take the time to see Congressman Bishop tell the interesting story. In it, he shared the history of Dr. Cook's invaluable influence in the early years of its creation. We learned a lot about this ongoing observance, which has lasted, including this one, for 37 years. Early historic challenges of significance in Columbus, Georgia. Looking back, stories of the civil rights years can be best shared by allowing us to recount some early historic challenges of significance in Columbus, Georgia. And we had many challenges. We will break them up by decades, beginning with the early 1900s. If overcoming matters were a person, it would look like Mrs. Elizabeth May Lizzie Mae Lunsford. The contributions of African American women to overcome our historical struggles are often overlooked. Our struggle for civil rights in Columbus, Georgia needed women, and Miss Lizzie Mae was up for the job. She operated a grocery store with Mr. Watson Lunsford, which some believe was the hub of African American economy in Columbus, Georgia. This all happened in the decades of the 20s and 30s. Miss Lizzie Mae's home, located on Lawyers Lane, served as an entertainment center and a place where people could gather to talk about social movements of the day. It was also a meeting place for historically black organizations, such as the Links Incorporated, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, and Jack and Jill of America Incorporated. For all of her contributions, she was also an excellent community host. Most notably, Miss Lizzie May was extraordinarily generous, and in the 1940s, she donated $15,000, valued at $285,000 in 2022, to build the Colored Army and Navy YMCA USO.
Lord, where was there tonight?
When Primus King needed help with his legal defense, Mrs. Lizzie was a major donor to his defense fund. She traveled to Macon every day of the trial until the verdict was reached. Her courage so angered racist bullies that they decided to burn a cross in her yard. However, nothing deterred her as it pertained to civil rights.
Daddy, daddy.
A barber, minister, community activist, played a pivotal role in the civil rights and desegregation moments in Columbus, Georgia. Primus King assembled security for Martin Luther King when he was young. At the age of 29, in 1958, he spoke to over 1,000 people in attendance at the Masonic Temple, while the Masons guarded the building to ensure his safety. Thanks to Primus King. That same night, in retaliation, community terrorists bombed the home of Miss Essie Mae Allison. That was an act designed to deter any further efforts as it related to civil rights. However, instead, civil rights gained momentum across the country, and the quest for desegregation took center stage. Now, as we look at our history and those mentioned here, remember, there were many more in the struggle. And at a future date, we will mention their contributions on other programs. Dr. Thomas Brewer, a renowned African-American physician in Columbus, Georgia, spearheaded Mr. King's legal battles and other racial equity efforts in Columbus. He worked with the local chapter of the NAACP to raise money to cover many of the legal defenses. Through it all, Dr. Brewer and Mrs. Lunsford knew that whatever they had to overcome was bigger than Mr. King, and to emphasize our theme again, they understood at that moment that overcoming mattered. With his bravery and determination, Dr. Brewer invited enemies. And in 1956, he was gunned down in front of his business. The community was saddened by that event, but undeterred. What happened in the 60s? Desegregation was the big how-to, and schools became the priority from the national level. In fact, Superintendent William H. Shaw received a mandate to desegregate the schools. Public libraries were the first places to desegregate. However, there was a failed attempt to desegregate Baker High School in the first year. In the second try at Baker, two students, Robert Leonard and Larry Smith, were successful and became its first African American graduates.
Beyond the sky, it's been a long...
From conquering school desegregation to tackling voting rights, frustrated with delays, the NAACP launched a legal attack on segregation in Muscogee County. For the first time, African American candidates were approved and included on the ballot. Mr. George Ford, owner of a funeral home and well known for his activism, became a candidate for city council. Although his attempt was unsuccessful, it raised attention that the time had come for other African Americans to seek elected office. Mr. Albert Thompson was elected to the Georgia House of Representatives in 1964 and took office in 1965. He became the first African American elected official to hold office in Columbus, Georgia. The success of his campaign was directly aided by the persistent support of Mr. George Ford, Reverend Johnny H. Flakes Jr., Reverend Rudolph Allen, and many other strong leaders in the community.
Knocking me back down on my knees. Lord.
5 years later, in 1970, the first African American leaders were elected to city council. Dr. Robert Wright was elected as a Republican, and A.J. McClung was elected as a Democrat. As a result of these two having been elected, a split was created with 5 Republicans and 5 Democratic council members. The mayor, J.R. Allen, was a Republican. This would prove to be a historical moment in 1973, because with his accidental death in a plane crash, the mayor's seat became vacant. Mr. McClung became the Democratic nominee opposed by a Republican. It was at this very moment that city council history changed in Columbus, Georgia. Instead of each party voting down party lines, Dr. Bob Wright placed the needs of diversity in leadership over party politics and cast his vote for Mr. McClung. This gave him the 6 votes he needed to win and was named Mayor Pro Tem. Consequently, Mr. McClung became the first African American to hold the title of Mayor of Columbus, Georgia, a major city in the South. He held that title for 53 days. And as of 2022, Columbus, Georgia has never officially elected an African American mayor.
Wake up all the doctors, make the old people well. They're the ones who suffer and who catch all the hair. But they don't have so very long before they...
Whatever you want.
9 African American women in Columbus, Georgia, whose election made history. In 1985, Mrs. Rose Strong became the first African American elected to city council. In 1991, Miss Moretta Mitchell Taylor became the first woman to serve in the Georgia House of Representatives from Columbus. In 1993, Ms. Vivian Creighton Bishop became the first African American ever to win a citywide election in Columbus, Georgia, when she became the Muskogee County Municipal Court Clerk. In 1994, Ms. Linda Parker and Mrs. Barbara Pierce became the first African American women to be elected to the Muskogee County School Board. In 1997, Ms. Lula Lunsford Huff became the first African American woman to be elected tax commissioner. In 2015, Ms. Kia Chambers became the first African American elected citywide school board to serve on the school board. In 2017, Ms. Ann Hartman became the first African American elected citywide clerk of Superior Court. In 2021, Ms. Shanika Terry became the first African American district attorney for the Chattahoochee Valley Judicial Court. Nine African American men in Columbus, Georgia, whose election made history. In 1981, Mr. Albert Thompson made history again by becoming the first African American Superior Court judge in the Chattahoochee Judicial Circuit. 6 years later, in 1987, Mr. John Allen made history by becoming the first African American state court judge in Muskogee County. In 1989, Mr. Gary Parker became the first African American state senator to serve the Muskogee County area. In 1993, Mr. Sanford D. Bishop Jr. became the first African American to serve the Muskogee County area in the United States House of Representatives. By 1994, two African American men, Mr. James Walker and Mr. David Ebram, joined two African American women and became the first African American men to serve on the Muskogee County School Board. In 1998, Mr. Bill Weary became the first African American marshal of Muskogee County. While Mr. Weary did not serve a complete term in 2005, Mr. Greg Countryman became the first African American to serve a complete term as Muskogee County Marshal. In 2003, Mr. Ben Richardson became the first African American to serve as Solicitor General. Lastly, in 2020, Marshal Greg Countryman became the first African American elected sheriff of Muskogee County in 164 years.
One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours, it will be ours. Oh, one day, when the war is won, we will be sure, we will be sure. Oh, glory, glory, glory. Oh, glory, glory.
Hands to the heavens, no man, no weapon formed against, yes, glory is destined. Everyday women and men become legends. Sins that go against our skin become blessings. The movement is a rhythm to us. Freedom is like religion to us. Justice is juxtaposition in us. Justice for all just ain't specific enough. One son died, his spirit is revisited.
Benjamin Ben Richardson was born in Sumter, South Carolina on September 19, 1966. He is the son of the late Benjamin F. Richardson and the late Nancy D. McClinton. His father was killed in Vietnam in 1967 and awarded the Silver Star for bravery and the Purple Heart. His dear mother succumbed to illness in 2013, but her memories and love continue to sustain him to this day. After the death of his father, Ben's mother relocated them to Atlanta, Georgia, and he was educated in the Fulton County school system. His grandparents played a large role in his upbringing, driving home the concept of having an educational balance of book sense and common sense. His grandfather stated, "A textbook will tell you how to cross the street. Common sense will tell you when to cross the street." After graduating from Woodland High School in East Point, Georgia, Ben attended Howard University in Washington, D.C., receiving a Bachelor of Business Administration degree in management with a minor concentration in political science in 1989. He furthered his education pursuit at the University of Georgia School of Law and received his Juris Doctorate in 1992. In 1994, he joined the Muscogee County Solicitor General's office in Columbus as an assistant solicitor. Later, he was promoted to Chief Assistant Solicitor General in January of 1996, where he supervised 4 assistant solicitor generals and still maintained his own individual trial caseload. In 2003, he was appointed and sworn in by Governor Roy Barnes as Solicitor General for Muscogee County, the first African American to hold this position in the history of Muscogee County. In 2014, he was appointed by Governor Nathan Deal as a state court judge for Muscogee County, the second African American to hold this position. Recently, on February 14, 2022, he was named and appointed to the Chattahoochee Judicial Circuit as a Superior Court judge. Ben is married to Valerie Edwards Richardson. They are blessed with a son, Justin Richardson. Ben is active in his community and his state. He's a graduate of Leadership Georgia and Leadership Columbus, serves on numerous community boards such as Technical College Directors Association of Georgia, past president, Kinetic Credit Union, and Columbus Tech College, past president, active in 100 Black Men of Columbus, Omega Psi Phi Fraternity, the Columbus Bar Association, past president, the Chattahoochee Bar Association, past president, and the Fountain City Bar Association. He is a member of St. James AME Church in Columbus, Georgia. He serves as a member of the trustee board and the men's usher board. He knows that without God, nothing is possible, but with God, all things are possible.
Never would have made it. Never could have made it without you. I would have lost it all. But now I see how you were there for me, and I can say never would have made it. Never could have made it without you. I would have lost it all. But now I see how you were there for me, and I can say I'm strong.
Born a leader. The Honorable Calvin Smyre is the epitome of the statement, born a leader. In 1970, he graduated from Fort Valley State University with a BS in Business Administration, minoring in accounting. 4 short years later, he would begin a journey that would come to define his life and forever alter the influence of politics in the state of Georgia. Mr. Smyre was elected to the Georgia House of Representatives in 1974 at the age of 27. He became the youngest member of the Georgia House of Representatives when he was elected to the chamber. It wouldn't take Representative Smyre long to have history making impacts. In 1986, Governor Joe Frank Harris appointed Smyre floor leader for the 1987 session, making Smyre the first African American leader of the House since Reconstruction. In 1998, he was elected the first African American chairman of the House Democratic State Legislative Caucus. In 2001, in a historic move, Governor Roy Barnes appointed Representative Smyre chairman of the State Democratic Party, thus becoming the first African American to serve in that position. National impacts. Smyre's impacts would not just remain statewide. He quickly burst onto the national scene. In 2006, Smyre was elected president of the National Black Caucus of State Legislators. Smyre became an easily recognized face at the Democratic National Convention, where Smyre made his first appearance in 1980. 4 years later, he became the first black elected official from Georgia elected to the Democratic National Committee. Representative Smyre advised the presidential campaigns of Carter, Gore, Clinton, Obama, and Biden. Historic and epic appointments. As if Representative Smiley's journey was anything short of spectacular, the entire state of Georgia and friends around the nation shared in congratulations when Representative Smiley was nominated by President Joseph Biden to serve as the ambassador for the Dominican Republic. History is incredible when you view it in hindsight, but to see the historic rise and the nomination of Representative Smiley to ambassador is a journey the people of Columbus, Georgia will never forget. Representative Smiley's contribution to this state and to the stellar example of leadership he has provided for young men and women of color will forever be one of dignity, pride, perseverance, and hope.
Rodney Close, CEO of Boys and Girls Club of the Chattahoochee Valley. Boys and Girls Clubs of the Chattahoochee Valley exist to enable all young people, especially those who need us most, to reach their full potential as productive, caring, responsible citizens. Pamela Stevens Williams is a community philanthropist and business owner who is particularly supportive of grassroots efforts and fundraisers. She seeks to make a difference in the lives of others. Shauna Love, founder of Boys to Men Mentoring Organization of Columbus, Georgia. Boys to Men Mentoring is a community initiative designed to mentor, affirm, teach, counsel, and hear our sons. Gerald and Katasha Riley, founder of Overflow Outreach Ministries of Columbus, Georgia. Overflow Outreach Ministries has a mission of expressing love and unity while taking back their community. Dr. Marvin Crumbs, principal of Columbus High School. He derived his distinction from meritorious educational achievements, honors, and both personal and professional associations. Excellence is his standard and his signature. Abdur R. Hassan currently serves as the chair of the mentoring committee for the 100 Black Men of Columbus, Georgia. He oversees and participates in mentoring sessions of 60 students at St. Mary's, Dorothy Height, Georgetown Elementary School, and Baker Middle School. Reggie Lewis, director of Cure Violence of Columbus, Georgia. Cure Violence is a violence interruption program for anti-violence. It aims to stop the spread of violence in communities by using the methods and strategies associated with public health and disease. Cleo Y. Griswood is a distinguished retired educator with 30 years of experience in public education. Her terminal K-12 assignment was a principal at Kindred High School. In her post-retirement years, she has worked with the Georgia Department of Corrections educating incarcerated adults. Pastor Noble Williams is a Phoenix City spiritual community leader. He has earned the respect of not only the citizens he shepherds, but also those who makes up the entire demographic of that population. He is called upon to serve at the table for important discussion regarding the perpetual and positive growth of the community. Dr. Grenetta Wright is an award-winning business strategist, published author, and motivational speaker. With her Reach for Your Dreams nonprofit, she has met the needs of students returning to school, ensuring that they have supplies, personal hygiene, and extensive hair products. She also owns Expert Tax Services, LLC, with locations in Columbus and Atlanta, Georgia.
Each day I live.
It would be my parents. They came from rural Georgia, Lunkin, by way of Charles. And I saw them work, the work ethics that my dad had. over the years. And if he could work today, he would be working. He would walk to work in the rain, in the cold. And my mother started out as a custodian. And I would always ask them how much money did they make. And they would tell me, I believe at one point my mother made 95 cents an hour. My dad probably made a little bit over $1 an hour. And I just always said that I wanted to make more money than my parents. But I also wanted to do something good in the community. I saw them helping people all the time. Because we have to pay it forward. And in paying it forward, somebody had to lift me up. I didn't wake up like this. I got in trouble, and I had some kind people to get me back on the right track. And so, given my life and my experiences that I've had, I want to give back and make sure that I talk to individuals who are coming up the way I came up. I lived in the projects. Sitting here in this position, it was not an easy road. The key to success and the way to success, you can't take the elevator. You have to take one step at a time. Listen to your inner self. I've always told myself I could do that, and I didn't doubt myself. I just had to find the path to get there. Just always pushing myself. I would have self-talks. Joyce, you can do this. Just take your time, slow down. Don't say that. When you get there, make sure you acknowledge the people who pushed you there. Totally shocked when I got that call. I had no idea what Mr. Hales wanted, and I talked with him, and I said, what do you mean I got this award? And he told me. I would personally like to thank Congressman Sanford Bishop and the Black History Breakfast Observance Committee for this beautiful nomination and selection to this prestigious award and recognition. I totally am honored, and I feel that we can make a very big difference in our community, just leading the way, being a trailblazer and a path leader for others to come behind us.
Each day I live, I want to.
I think I go back to my parents. I know my father, Dover Roberts, who was a really giving person, and having with the new role that I have at Aflac as Aflac historian, I'm thinking about history quite a bit. And my father, when I was younger, he was a Mason, and Masons give back a lot. And so I would always accompany him when they went to visit the elderly and did Thanksgiving baskets and dinners. And those are the things that I kind of grew up doing with my father. So that's kind of the part of the reason I think that I give back is because I've always kind of done it. I'm trying to instill that in my daughter as well to give back. Giving back to the community is something I think that really that we all need to do. There's a saying to whom much is given, much is expected. And because I think, we control the destiny of our communities. Wherever you are, you have to make it inviting and interesting. So, I try to make sure that I get involved in things in the community, and that, giving back in that way is a way of bettering the community. Well, really, it's very humbling to me, honestly, because there are so many people in the community that do so many great things. All I do is just try to do what I can do myself, and just to try to help a little bit, to try to help people kind of get the best out of them. So I'm really humbled and grateful because there are so many people that are that do much more than I'm able to do with the things that I'm involved with, but because it was given to me, could have been really been given to anyone. To the Black History Observance Committee, I just want to let you know, and to Congressman Sanford Bishop specifically, I want to let you know that I am truly, truly humbled and honored to have been the recipient of this award this year, because again, as I said earlier, there are so many people that are doing some amazing things in this community, and for me to have been singled out this year is very humbling to me. So thank you so much.
Janella and Howard Pendleton have served the Columbus, Georgia community for many years. As a couple, they've been leaders in their respective careers and in their singular and joint affiliations while championing family values. Janella is a forward-thinking, progressive, and renowned community educational leader. As a principal, she elevated the trajectory of teacher and student performance at Reese Road Leadership Academy, which became a role model for other elementary schools in the Muskogee County School District. She led the design of a prototype to ensure the academic success of students in the Title I program while promoting their leadership skills. This resulted in the development of an exceptional team of teacher, student, and parent leaders, and the receipt of numerous local and statewide honors and recognitions for student achievement. In addition, Janella's leadership has been stellar in serving her church, civic and social organizations, on community boards, and her beloved Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Howard Pendleton is the long-term director of the Workforce Investment Opportunity Program for the Columbus, Georgia Consolidated Government. His keen awareness of human potential and his desire to impact and invest in human capital over the years has fueled his passion to provide solutions for those he serves. Like his wife, he too is committed to community service, working in his church and Omega Psi Phi fraternity to uplift and impact mankind.
I am Rosalind Giles, your anchor for WXTX Fox 54. It is my pleasure to be here with two pillars of our Columbus community on this evening. They are great people who have made some awesome contributions to the Fountain City within their own rights as leaders in this community. I want to say congratulations to you and welcome to you as well, Mr. Howard and Janella Pendleton.
Thank you for having us.
Congratulations on your award and receiving the Legacy of Leadership Award. You guys both combined have more than 80 years of experience in this community with your different fields of expertise, and so that is awesome. We know that you are a retired Muskogee County principal in the Muskogee County School District, and you worked for more than 40 years and are still working even to this day. You retired back in 2012. And Mr. Howard, you have also helped train the economically disadvantaged people in the community in terms of workforce training and also with the veterans. So you guys have made awesome contributions.
Thank you.
Definitely. And Congressman Sanford Bishop, of course, puts this on every year to recognize people like you who have made such great contributions. And so without further ado, I want to ask you a couple of questions. And for the sake of this interview, legacy, though, will be defined as something that you leave behind for others to follow. What would you want that to be?
Well, I would like my legacy for others to follow would be to serve, to give the best of your service, however small acts that might be, to stay humble. You know, it's easy to get an inflated ego, but if you stay humble and build relationships, that would be one part of the legacy that I would like to leave behind. And the last one would be being kind. In a world that is mean sometimes, being kind to anybody that you encounter, because you never know what storms they're going through.
So very true, so very true. What about you, Mr. Pendleton?
Well, to some degree, just about the same. You know, give your time and the talents that you were given to use. But I guess mine would more emphasize on youth. you know, take the time out for the youth, because you know that's where it has to start, and that's what we build upon in our community. It's taking time out to do that, and I think we've tried to even do that, instill that within our children.
Great advice. Thank you so much. And please tell me something about you that most people don't know. It could be a hobby, it could be a dream, or accomplishments.
Ooh, I'm gonna let him tell.
You're gonna go first this time. All right, I'm gonna toss it to you.
Well, some people know. A lot of people don't know. When I was in college, I was in a band. We were called the Collegiate All Stars, and we were a rock and roll band. And I was the James Brown act.
Oh wow! Okay.
Man, we were a good band too. We were at one time rated the #2 band in the state of Florida.
Wow.
Yeah. So and we had some talented musicians. A young man named Jimmy Bhmoc, who has made some records. He used to sing with Kiss and Sunshine. He was one of the members in the band. We had a trumpet player who used to play with James Brown. We had a bass player played with the Jazz Crusaders that he went on to play. So you know, it was a lot of talent there. But then I had to decide if I was going to graduate. so we had to cut that loose. So, but that's something about that's a lot of people don't know. That I used to be in a rock and roll band in college.
That's great to know.
Okay, what people don't know about me is that I can sew, I cook. Occasionally.
Occasionally. Not as much as used to when the kids were there, right?
No, not at all. But yeah, I've always wanted to sing a solo and have a choir back, you know, behind me. When I was singing with one church choir, my home church choir, you know, I would beg the director to let me sing solo. She said, no, you have a backup voice. Okay. So I took that, but that's what I've always really wanted to do. But yeah, I am a musician, a trained musician. And in fact, I went to Tuskegee on a band scholarship. They probably didn't know that. But yeah, I went to Tuskegee on a band scholarship and kept the scholarship my 4 years there. So I play piano, organ, saxophone, clarinet.
So both of you are musically inclined.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Yeah.
Sounds great. So my final question though for you is, what are you most thankful for?
Okay, I am thankful for the gift of life, that I was born and was able to see a lot that has happened since 1950 in the world and around me. I am thankful for my two daughters, our two daughters, and the grandsons and their dog Maverick.
The dog
and family. Yeah, I'm just thankful for the gift of life to be here and to help somebody. I often tell people that I'm retired, but I'm not expired. And I want to, when I come to my final days, I want to be thoroughly used up where there's nothing left. I've given everything and my all to help somebody, to empower somebody, to engage somebody.
All right, sounds wonderful.
I guess I'm thankful that the Lord has really blessed. I've been really been blessed by the Lord. Number one, I had this young lady here in my life for really 54 years. 52 years.
We'll get it right.
52.
You gotta go
52
home.
years. 52
Right.
years, yeah. We started dating in 70 and then got married in 74. But that, and of course my children. And the other thing is that I was blessed to have. I lost my parents in 2020, 13 days apart. And I was lucky enough to have them. My father, he was 101 when he passed, and my mother was 94. She passed. So, you know, I was lucky enough to have that, and then for my children and my grandchildren also to get a chance to know them. So that's really what I was thankful for most.
Now, therefore, in behalf of the Black History Month Observance Committee, I am pleased to recognize Janella and Howard Pendleton as 2022 Legacy of Leadership Award recipients.
Each day I live, I want to be a day to give.
Larry D. Screws enjoyed a long and successful career as an educator, retiring in 2011 after 36 years of service to the Russell County, Alabama school system. He served as coordinator for CEDAR program, elementary school teacher, assistant principal, and principal of 3 elementary schools, an intermediate school, a junior high school, and director of an alternative school. During his professional tenure, he touched the lives of countless students and parents and left an indelible mark on the Russell County school system. Desiring to make an additional contribution to the rural areas of Russell County, Mr. Screws offered himself and was elected Russell County Commissioner, District 7 in 2008, and was re-elected in 2012, 2016, and 2020. He currently serves as Vice Chair of the County Commission. Recognizing the need to support educational pursuits in District 7, he co-established the Screws and McCoy Scholarship, which has been awarded to Russell County youth for 8 years and has benefited numerous graduates. In addition to his service as an educator and county commissioner, Mr. Screws serves on the Fort Mitchell Water Board, the Russell County Extension Advisory Board, is a member of Alpha Phi Omega Service Fraternity, Omega Psi Phi Fraternity, the Uplift Foundation, and the Mount Moriah Baptist Church of Pittsview, Alabama.
I'm Loretta Rose with Street Talk with Loretta Rose on Dean TV, and I have the esteemed honor to congratulate a wonderful recipient of the Legacy of Leadership Awards. Congratulations, Mr. Larry Screws.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your service. Talking about legacy of leadership. Legacy will be defined as something that you will leave behind for others to follow. What would you want that to be for you?
That there's no stumbling block that you can't accomplish. There's nothing that anyone can put in your way that will stop you from achieving your goal. If you have that drive, that stay-to-itness.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes, wow. So please tell me something about you that most people don't know. It could be a hobby, life dream, or accomplishment.
Well, you know, if I had to, most people probably don't realize that I like to go to drag strips. I like to go out to the drag strip and watch the cars go through.
Wow.
I love that. And it's just a hobby of mine. I like kind of working on cars too.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
in my spare time.
Wow.
But I also like swimming. I love swimming. I don't go as much as I used to, but I enjoy it.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. I like that. Swimming. Wow. Whoever would have thought? Wonderful. So you're a family man, married for many, many years.
Yes.
And you have 2 children.
2 girls.
Adult children now, probably.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I know that is a great blessing to you as well, to see the fruit of your labor through your seed.
Right. Well, my wife is over at CVC. She's president over there. And my girls, one is in Virginia, one is in Memphis, Tennessee.
Wow. And I'm sure you make them all proud.
Well, I hope so.
Yes,
I hope so,
absolutely.
Yeah,
We're loving this. So, as we get ready to wrap up our interview, What are you most thankful for? I know there are many things that you're thankful for, but if you could just give us, you know, one or two that you're most thankful for.
Well, the first one I'm thankful for is that God has spared me and given me the ability to get to this point in my life. The second thing is that He has given me the strength to continue to work, to do whatever I can to help whoever I can, and to continue to serve. You know, when you get a certain age, you just learn to lean and depend on Him. You know, regardless of which way you go. You know, you begin to realize that you don't do those things on your own. That you have help.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He is a faithful husband, loving father, and extraordinary role model. He has done so much for so many for so long. Now, therefore, in behalf of the Black History Month Observance Committee, we are pleased to recognize Larry D. Screws as 2022 Legacy of Leadership Award recipient. Thank you for your legacy of leadership. Charles E. Huff, Jr. is a name synonymous with a pioneering, optimistic, authentic, and trusted leadership style. He has served this community well for over half a century. He once shared that if my good name is all that I have, that would be enough for me. He is the current owner of Charles E. Huff's International Funeral Home, founded in 1951 by his parents, Charles E. Huff Sr. and Melinda Huff. It is one of the oldest historically Black funeral service businesses in Columbus, Georgia. He has maintained the high ideals and principles instilled in him by his parents, as evidenced by the way he supports bereaved families. Charles has served as a board member for numerous agencies, organizations, and institutions, including Columbus Bank and Trust, Synovus, Historic Columbus Foundation, the YMCA of Metropolitan Columbus, St. Francis Foundation, and Columbus Technical College Foundation, the Columbus Naval Museum, and the Greater Columbus, Georgia Chamber of Commerce. His legacy of service has been recognized locally, regionally, and nationally. His selfless volunteer efforts have earned him awards from the United Negro College Fund, the Chattahoochee Valley Council for the Boy Scouts of America, the Courier Eco Latino newspaper, and others. Notably, he is currently the volunteer president for the Chattahoochee Council of the Boy Scouts of America, entertainment and logistics coordinator for the United Negro College Fund Columbus Campaign and Mayor's Mask Educational Gala, and is known as the unofficial ambassador for the Columbus and the Fort Benning, Georgia military communities.
Hello, my name is Dominic Perkins, and I'm a member of the Black History Month Observance Committee. And I'm here with our guest, Mr. Charles Huff, who is going to be one of our 2022 Legacy of Leadership recipients. First of all, Mr. Huff, I just want to congratulate you on the award. It's very well deserved, and we're happy that you received it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So for the sake of this interview, legacy will be defined as something that you leave behind for others to follow. What would you want that to be?
I would like to leave service to mankind. You know, helping the community, helping all that you can. You know, do the best you can with your community.
Oh, yeah. What would you say of everything? It sounds like you've accomplished a lot and lived an amazing life. What's one thing you would say you're most thankful for?
I'm most thankful for having a mother and father that was at home, that could tell me where I needed to go and help push you to another level. Mm-hmm. All you had to do is just listen. And they were behind the scene, pushing, and she always told me, you know, you must go out and help other people. And I watched her while she was teaching schools. I watched her do so much and give so much, and a little secret between us, you better not tell anybody. that was our little secret, when she would give this and give that. So you better not tell anybody. So, and she always told me, she said, you don't do things and expect anything in return. You do it from the heart. Once you do it, move on. And I'm getting people now walking in the office thanking me for stuff that she did. And she died in 2000. So, and they still thinking, you know, and if I could build a legacy like that, you know, I just sit back sometimes and just say, wow, you know, she was really loved by a lot of people. And that's what I try, you know, that's what I try to do. And then I enjoy a lot of other things. And my daughter, she's a doctor now. And growing up, I would tell her the same thing. You can be anything you want to be. And it's so ironic that my mother and father helped a young man go to medical school. And 30, 40 years later, probably 50 years later, her grandchild becomes a doctor. And it was so funny. I gave our daughter a doctor's kit for Christmas. And when she was a child, she was probably 5 years old, 6 years old. So my wife, Lula, and I were looking, so she went to all the other gifts. She never touched the doctor's kit. So I looked at her, I said, well, I know what she's not gonna be. Now she's an orthopedic surgeon. So who knew?
Moreover, he is a life member of the Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. He's married to the Honorable Lula Lunsford Huff, Muskogee County Tax Commissioner and past Legacy of Leadership Award recipient. Now, therefore, in behalf of the Black History Month Observance Committee, we are pleased to recognize Charles E. Huff, Jr. as 2022 Legacy of Leadership Award recipient. Thank you for your legacy of leadership.
year, the Black History Observance Committee spotlights the following organizations. The Fountain City Poetry Slam for the youth in our community, shaping the world one word at a time. Donations will be used for curriculum material. The Tree of Life Healthcare, a nonprofit medical and eye clinic in Columbus, Georgia, serving patients without health insurance. Donations will be used for operation and equipment. The Liberty Theater Culture Center stakes its claim as Columbus and Georgia's foremost leader in the cultivation and celebration of African American cultural arts talent. In acknowledgement of its significance, it was placed on the National Registers of Historical Places in 1984. Donations will be used for the maintenance and operations of this historical treasure. And the Golden Owlets, who maintains and manages the W.H. Spencer House for community use and historical tours. Donations will be used for urgent and necessary upkeep and repairs. So let's get started.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as a rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won.
I dedicate this song to recession, depression, and unemployment. This song's for you.
Today's a new day, but there is no sunshine. Nothing but clouds, and it's dark in my heart, and it feels like a cold night. Today's a new day, but where are my blue skies? Where is the love and the joy that you promised me? Tell me it's alright.
I'll be honest with you.
I almost gave up, but a power that I can't explain fell from heaven like a shower now.
When I think how much better I'm gonna be when this is over.
I smile, even though I hurt, see I smile. I know God is working, so I smile. Even though I've been here for a while.
What you do?
I smile.
Come on and
Smile. It's so hard to look up when you've been down. Sure would hate to see you give up now.
God's people.
You look so much better when you smile. So smile.
Now every day ain't gonna be perfect, but it still don't mean today don't have purpose. Come on.
Today's a new day, but there is no sunshine. Nothing but clouds, and it's dark in my heart, and it feels like a cold night.
It ain't easy, but
Today's a new day, but tell me, where are my blue skies?
where is that love, y'all?
Where is the love and the joy that you promised me? Tell me it's alright.
The truth is,
I almost gave up, but a power that I can't explain
that Holy Ghost power, y'all.
fell from heaven like a shower now.
hurt y'all, but still I smile. Come on. Even though I hurt, see I smile. And y'all feel that? I know God is working, so I smile. Even though I've been here for a while, still I smile. Hallelujah. Smile. It's so hard to look up when you've been down. Sure would hate to see you give up now. Cause people, you look so much better when you smile. Let's go. Smile for me. Whoa. Can you just smile for me? Whatever you're in right now, smile, smile for me. Smile. Can you just smile for me? And my people say, oh, oh, oh. You look so much better when you, oh, oh, oh. You look so much better when you, oh, oh, oh. You look so much better when you, oh, I say, you look so much better when you, oh, oh. And while you waiting, you look so much better when you, oh, oh. And while you praying, you look so much better when you, oh, oh. Look in the mirror, you look so much better when you, oh, oh. Always remember, you look so much better when you smile. Come on. I almost gave up, but that Holy Ghost power, y'all, from heaven, came down from heaven. Hardships, difficulties, right now. Tears, storms, this is what I do. I smile. Woo. Even though I hurt, see I smile. Well, that feels good.
Liberating strife, who more than self their country love, and mercy more than life. What I'm saying about the land, this America, sweet America, may God I glorify till all success be nobleness and every gain divine. And you know, when I was a little boy, I remember we always sang these words. Oh, beautiful, far spacious sky, far amber waves of grain, far purple mountain majesty. Now wait a minute. America, America. God, just grace on thee. God, I love him, yeah. He crowned our good. I don't you remember? Say me, brotherhood. From sea to shining sea. You know, I wish I had y'all to help me sing this thing here. Go ahead. America. Oh, yes, he did. You ought to love him for it, 'cause he cried out good. He told me what, say me, brother.